Are we on the internet? Woo! Woohoo! Tonight, the Mighty Nine form a plan to get their friends back. Neela finds closure at last, and the party makes a new and curious friend. Looking at you, Taliesin. We'll break it all down tonight with my guests, Sumali, Taliesin, all that and more tonight on Talks Machina. Hit it, Chief. We're back. Welcome. Welcome, esteemed panel of guests.
Hello.
Thank you.
You guys have steaming hot tea you're drinking tonight.
It's quite nice.
You didn't make it in those chintzy plastic cups, did you?
Is that a problem if we
No,
did?
I don't think they've been washed out is the only thing.
That's fair.
That's
Well,
okay. Can't be any worse than what Sam ingests into his body every Thursday night. Speaking of asbestos, right, Danny? Oh, by the way, gang, I hope everyone's sitting down. Prepare yourselves. We have one bit of bad news we have to cover. No Danny Cam tonight. Technical difficulties, working on a little syncing issue. Should be back up and running next week, thanks to our hardworking crew. But you'll be forced to just listen to her tonight instead of seeing her wonderful face. Can still hear you, though, which is great. All right. Our couple announcements before we get into the show. Our very own international man of mystery, Mr. Taliesin Jaffe, hand-selected my outfit for Gen Con this year. Yeah, that was pretty fun.
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a blast.
And I'm very excited about the outfit. It is extremely extra. It is quite extra.
I attempted to pack it today in my luggage for the trip, and with a ton of delicacy, and but it's bright. You might need some sunglasses if you.
I'll have your product, by the way. I actually have the product. We
yes.
discussed product needs.
Yes.
I have your product with me. It's going to be packed.
Goodness, this is going to be fun. If you missed it and you don't have any idea what the hell we're talking about, we made a video showing the process, which is available at youtube.com/criticalrole and facebook.com/criticalrole on both of those channels right now. And stay tuned for my big outfit reveal this Friday night, August 3rd at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific during our Gen Con live show. It's going to be a blast. Another programming note, Matthew's Fireside Chat and NPC build will be Tuesday, August 7th at 5 p.m. Pacific. It's a week from today. 5 to 6, you can check that out. Ask Matt your questions in chat, and he'll be doing the build of the new NPC that the critters are going to pick, which is going to be awesome. It's going to be pretty fun. Mauritius Honey Heist 2 Electric Bear Glue. That's a great name. Will be next Friday, August 10th at 7 p.m. Pacific. Both of those streams will be hosted on twitch.tv/criticalrole and uploaded to our YouTube a few days after the stream. We're all coming back for the Honey Heist too. All the original gang. You, me, Sam, Liam, Matt.
I should really read those emails. That's exciting.
You should. Yes,
I will.
This is all brand new information to Taliesin.
I've been a little busy this week. It's been a long 2 weeks.
Wednesday Club tomorrow. What's going on?
I don't entirely remember. Oh yes, now I do. I was like, what do I have to read when I get home?
Your emails and then
my emails, and then we're covering Batman books with no Batman. We're doing all of the Gotham adjacent comic books and talking about the city of Gotham and like the fun characters that run around there that are not Batman or don't necessarily have Batman in the book.
That's awesome. Yeah. Tune in to Wednesday Club tomorrow, 7 p.m. 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
Right here.
Possibly special guest. I'll double check.
No way.
Yeah.
Is it Ben Affleck?
No.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Speaking of Batman adjacent, no.
He loves that role, though.
He was born for it,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, he was born for it yesterday. Without further ado, let us discuss episode 28 of Critical Role Campaign 2, Within the Nest. All right, guys. Yeah, it's those two. Well, We have some crit roll stats for this episode. This is done by our friends at Crit Roll Stats. Neela smelled her bag regarding 5 decisions.
Wow.
Going to Ophelia, letting Champ smell the bag, going to find a cleric, going to talk to the Taskers, and placing her spirit totem.
Wow, I didn't think it was that many times.
That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that's cool. I like
Stink
that.
pouch.
Cool stat.
Yeah.
Cool nickname too.
Frequent stink pouch uses. Is that what you call? Is that what you call it?
No, it was Sam
what?
who came up with stink
Oh,
pouch.
Sam did. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Let's see. Oh boy, this one's sensitive. Molly Mock had 25 nat 20s, second most in the Mighty Nine, 11 nat 1s, second fewest in the Mighty Nine, 21 kills, most in the Mighty Nine, and got 7 how do you want to do this is. How do you want to do this,
How do you want to do these?
How do you want to do these?
How do you want to do these?
How do you want to do these? Most in the Mighty Nine, so that's pretty crazy, man. Record holder.
Yeah, no. Shone bright. He was
Died
bright.
doing what he loved, making crit roll stats records.
Oh, yeah, I'll allow it. Sure.
Since we're discussing episode 27 and 28 tonight, Molly dealt 711 points of damage and took 325 points of damage total. Molly's most cast spell was Vicious Mockery 23 times. And terrifying.
Worked probably twice.
Yeah, everyone was terrifying though. His most used Blood Hunter ability was Rite of the Dawn 22 times. And Caduceus, am I saying that right?
Close enough. No H, Caduceus.
Caduceus.
What did I say?
Caduceus.
Caduceus. I do it too.
Oh, Caduceus.
I'll end up doing it a couple times as well because it's hard.
The deuces.
Clay. I've given permission for everyone to call him Clay if you're just
Yeah, I get it.
It's rough.
Caduceus healed people for 24 points in episode 28. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Right there.
Good one at numbers.
Yes, that's true. Sumali, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
And the past 2 weeks on the show. How did you come to be on Critical Role? How did this happen? Tell me everything.
Oh my gosh, it was such a whirlwind. That started off really slow because I'm friends with Matt. We're at the same voiceover agency, so I knew him, and I knew about Critical Role, and I'd kind of watched it just grow and grow and explode. But I was always like way back, like I'd see it in my timeline, and I knew people, I knew people associated with it. And so there was one day we were both Matt and I were working. We were both guest starring on that same cartoon. And after we wrapped, we were walking outside and we were like hanging out in the kitchen, and I just had to say congratulations. I was like, this thing that you built is just amazing.
Yeah.
I just literally just wanted to say congratulations. I'm so happy for all of you about what, I didn't exactly know what it was,
Right.
but I was like, I could see that it was huge.
Yeah.
And so we were talking, and he was telling me a little bit about the backstory, and then he was like, you should come on the show sometime. And I was literally like, oh, okay. And I wasn't quite sure, like, he's a super nice guy, and he's sincere. So I was like, I think he means it, but I was like, but I'm sure he saw the look on my face. I was like, I would love to do that, but I've never played D&D before.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, it's cool. Why don't you just watch the show a couple times, see if it's something that you'd like to do, and then get back to me. And then, actually, right after that, this is an important part of the story, because after that, I went into my agency, I think the next day, and I told our common agent, I was like, oh my gosh, Matt said he might want to have me guest star in Critical Role.
Yeah.
And so that kind of logged into her head. And then fast forward 3 months later, and I hadn't done as much homework as I wanted to feel comfortable going back to him. He texted me, and he was like, hey, Mercer here, would love to sit down and talk with you about a possible guest appearance on the show. And I was like, oh my gosh, this timing is good. But I thought that we were going into this meeting, I thought it was like I had to pitch myself. I had to I was like, oh my God. Okay, it was like more preparation than for any audition. I was okay, try to get as much of the basics of D&D down, and okay. And then I was planning to tell him if all else fails, I was like, I will study whatever I need to do. I will read the player handbook from cover to cover. I really want to do this.
Yeah.
And we set the time for the meeting. I met up with him. and he was sitting there in this diner with the book, with dice, with the player character sheet.
Yeah.
And I sat down and I was like, I've never played. I mentioned that to you, right? I was like, it's cool. Yeah, no, we've had newbies on the show before.
Yeah.
And then we just started to create the character, and I was literally like, oh my gosh, this is happening. I was so
man.
prepared to say, Matt, I will do whatever it takes to make sure that I don't embarrass you.
Right. Oh, yeah, you don't have to worry about that.
Read the player handbook.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't quite
Get around
finish
to
the
it.
whole thing. But
Well, you don't need to read the whole thing, but for what you were
it was
doing.
like, I don't know, it was like I think I had like about a month before I ended up being on the before my first show.
Oh,
so.
I see. Yeah, I mean, there's no better person to walk you through how to play from scratch than Matt, really, because he just has such an articulate, easy way of making it sound so much simpler than it actually ends up being.
Oh my gosh, and even like picking stuff out like race and class. He just, he was introducing everything to me, and I had some exposure, but literally everything sounded so good when he would present it. He's
Yeah.
like, you could be a dragonborn, you could be, and he
Yeah.
would just introduce a little bits of each race, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I want to be that. Oh, I want to be that.
I know.
I want to be that.
You hear the next one, you're like, oh, never mind, that's way cooler. And then, oh no, that's way cooler. Yeah. We should have called tonight's episode the Furbog Fireside.
I would have been totally okay with that.
That's what we should have done, Danny.
I mean, there's still time.
There's still time. Well, we'll fire
Could
our
put an
producer,
AKA
Max. and-
after the title.
That's true. We'll do it. We'll do it for the YouTube upload. Oh, wait, this doesn't go to YouTube. All right, our questions from fans tonight. Let's begin with one for you, Taliesin.
Okay.
This is from @SkinnyGhost.
Ah.
Do you know who that is?
No, other than they're apparently losing weight, and I applaud. but-
That's, well, yeah, that's true. It's Adam Coble. You know
Oh.
him? Yeah.
yeah, that guy.
His question is, where's my money, Taliesin?
In the mail. The money's in the mail.
Yeah.
It's on the
I've
way.
heard that before.
Yeah, it had not occurred to me resemblance between.
It does look a lot like. Check out @SkinnyGhost on Twitter,
Oh, please,
and
there's some great
you'll
photos.
see some fantastic photos.
Yeah,
of
that
Adam.
wasn't the intention, but once the art was done, and like I was with Matt, and he's like, "Looks like Cobalt." I'm like, "Oh shit!"
So funny. Yeah.
Worked out pretty well.
I
I'm
saw
pleased.
a lot of comparisons Thursday night once your art went up. Okay, for both of you, from Cyberwolf1201, what attracted you to choosing Furbogs as your character races?
I mean, I'd never done it before, which was why I did it, just because it was something new, and they've got some really interesting abilities and stats. It was kind of the idea of like vaguely communicating with plants and animals amused me, and it's like I'd never done this before. That was my whole thing, was I'd never done it before.
I'd never done any of them before.
Yeah, so it's all new for you, right?
I think, well, like I was saying, when Matt was introducing all the different races I could choose from, like for some reason I went in, I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be a half orc or dragonborn. I was like, I don't know why, but for whatever reasons I was kind of like drawn to those. And then he opened, like we finished the races in the regular handbook,
Yeah.
and then I think he pulled out a different
Yeah.
book. And and you can also choose from these. And he just showed me the page of the Furbolg, and I was just, it just like clicked, and I was like,
Wow.
that's it. And we were both talking earlier. There's a picture on that page,
Yeah.
and I think it just spoke to both of us. What did you say? It was like a Jim Henson.
It's very Henson. I was like,
It is.
I want to be a Dark Crystal character. That sounds
Yeah.
exciting.
It is.
And I think, yeah, when he explained like the whole nature aspect, I was totally like, oh yeah, like this is, I don't really get to explore this in my characters, in characters that I do outside of here. So I'm like, oh, what a great opportunity. Let me pick something that kind of resonates with the nature lover in me. So
Yeah.
I liked that.
So you're a big nature
I'm a total
lover.
tree hugger.
You
Oh my
are?
gosh.
Yeah, tree hugger. That's
I'm a
such a fun-
I'm a total tree hugger. I think it
Yeah.
was like influence from my father. But yeah, like if I could repick the place where I got married, it would have been like totally like in the woods, but we couldn't get that location
Yeah.
because it was a national park and blah 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 blah.
Oh, man.
But
Did you do it at a Sonic drive-in instead?
no.
One in Glendale.
outside.
It's very romantic.
That's where I
Is
plan to
Sonic
get
in
married.
Glendale?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, Danny is now running out of the building.
The Memphis and me got really excited.
There's a Sonic by the train tracks in Glendale. I'll take you.
Oh boy, yeah,
That cranberry lemonade.
Cherry limeade.
Cherry limeade. I'm so sorry.
Sounds good.
that does sound good. Should we? Do you guys want to go? Let's get out of here.
I mean, I do.
Let's go to Sonic.
Let's get the we'll get Steve. You want to rack up the mobile rig and follow us to Sonic?
On my way.
Steve Durr has a question, not our Steve, but a different one. Taliesin, Furbolg, Cleric, Grave Domain. Which called to you first for your new character?
Everything was kind of done in a semi-conscious blaze of insanity because I, for reasons that will become clear in probably a week or so, I've had a lot to do this past month.
Yeah.
And cutting 3 days out of my schedule to roll a new character was really not really feasible. Grave Cleric was probably the first thing that hit because I was going through the new book. I wanted to get the supplements before the player's handbook, and I had that moment of this is kind of gothy. I could see some ways of playing with this in an interesting way, and I like that it. I was a little worried going back into the game that the entire party was going to get a little gun shy. After character death makes people gun shy.
Yeah.
You get a little. I mean, it's fine to be cautious, but D&D is not about being cautious.
It's a wake-up call.
Yeah, and this is a really good class for going in and kind of having a little bit of a buffer of like, okay, you can. This is a great cleric for it. I want to make sure everyone knows that they can make some mistakes and it's going to be okay. It's it's a lot of risk reduction, which could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Grave Cleric. I looked it up and there's some
they're
cool
nuts.
stuff.
They're really cool.
Cool stuff.
And like and then the Furbolgs work so well into that. And then I kind of already knew I wanted to do a Henson-y thing. I was trying to figure out where I could push the aesthetic for the character and the type of character that was different enough from Percy and Molly but still do. That's a long conversation. That's a huge long.
My favorite part of the makeover video is when I pull out the Percy costume and I was like, now what's this? Is this a Disney villain? And you're like, do I really have to explain this on to you, dude?
You should have tried it on. I would be curious to see you in the jacket.
Maybe I did. You weren't in the room when I was trying stuff on. You were only in the room when I brought the little bit amount of clothes out that I did put on. Sumali.
I have a webcam. It's cool.
Rescue us from the non-HR friendly conversation we're having with an answer to this question from Cutlip Adam. Was Neela's smell bag an actual magic item? If it was, what did it do?
I don't think it was a magic item. It was more of
Homebrewed.
Yeah, it was. I am. First of all, I have to say I'm so excited that people liked it and
Oh, they
enjoyed
loved
it
it.
because I racked my brain for like 2 weeks trying to come up with something. So first of all, like the first couple weeks, when I rolled Neela, my intelligence stat was like my intelligence stat was an 8.
Okay.
But my wisdom,
She has all of her awesome stuff here.
my wisdom was an 18.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember, I'm pretty sure Matt gave me the choice, like I could dump one of them, or I forget, like when we rolled it, but he was like,
Yeah.
you don't have to keep that one. But he was kind of in his map, in his like just light suggestion, when he was like, you might want to keep that low intelligence because sometimes the low scores help create the like, oh, did we had like go out? Sorry.
Yeah, they, listen, it was my month to pay the power bill, and I only paid part of it, so they just kept the real important lights
We
on.
barely ask you to do one job. We
Look,
barely ask one
This
job.
is our 76th episode of the
moonlighting.
show, and I keep hearing checks in the mail, buddy, checks in the mail. I'm like, 76 episodes?
Yeah, you and Cobalt, man.
Yeah, no,
Keep
this
waiting.
is, I think maybe my ankle monitor there's some interference with some of the equipment, but you were saying.
What was I saying?
You were
Low
saying
stat,
that.
low stat down.
Yeah.
And so first I had to understand, yes.
I want to look.
So first I had to understand, what does it mean for a character to have like low intelligence and high wisdom in the game?
Yeah.
Like I didn't understand what that, like I understand what it means, but
Yeah.
how does it like fit in the game? And so I spent a while trying to figure that out. And it's very opposite, I think, for me, because for me, growing up, like my parents, my mom especially would always tease me, like I'm book smart, but no street smarts.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like the girl. My cousin came out to me like, "Did you know that gullible was taken out of the dictionary?"
Oh my God.
And I'm like, "Really?
No, why would
Oh my
they do
God."
that? Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so I'm like, so I'm used to kind of the opposite. So
Yeah.
it took my brain a while to get like wrapped around that. And then I had this idea that, oh, she needs something that's kind of like a gut check. Because that shows to me intelligence, like an innate intelligence, but
We're back.
but like she can't explain how she gets to a decision, but she can feel like what the right decision is. So
Oh,
to
yeah.
me, having some sort of gut check like that was the solution to the lower intelligence and high wisdom.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I was like, what is going to be? And the funny thing was,
You're a beast, by the way. Oh my God, these stats are amazing.
that's what Matt said, but I had no idea.
Yeah, it's hard
He
to
was-
have a reference
Yeah,
point,
he was
right?
like, oh
yeah.
my God, I've never seen anyone want that.
Yeah.
I was like, are you just saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're only one negative. You're only one negative stat. This is, and everything's. And yeah, there's an 18 and a 16. Oh, there's a lot happening here. Yeah, this is great.
So, at first, one of the things I first thought of was reading tea leaves. Because I was like,
yeah.
oh, like reading tea leaves, maybe. But then I was like, no, it's too intelligent. It's still too heady. So I had to I was trying to figure out what I could kind of simplify it to. And then, smell is such a powerful sense. So I was like, oh, what if I put stuff in a bag and smell it? And every time I smell it, it changes depending on what I'm picking up inside. So that kind of affects what I'm smelling.
Yeah.
And I just like the idea that it's the same things inside the pouch, but that it changes every time I smell it depending on what decision I'm wanting to make.
Wow, that's so creative.
Oh my gosh, it took me so long to
love
come
it.
up with that. And
I
then,
love it.
So when people like it, I was literally like, oh my God.
Oh man, that's
'Cause,
hilarious.
you can spend so long working on certain elements of a character, in this
Yeah.
case, like a quirk of the character, and it might never come up or it might never get noticed. And
Yeah.
so.
I mean, like Sam's
yeah.
character, nobody likes even still,
No,
and so
no
it's
one.
been already 28 episodes. That's fantastic.
for asking
Taliesin,
me about that.
of course. So many people wanted to know about the smell bag.
What do you have an idea of what was in the smell bag? Out of
Oh,
the
yeah.
actual object? Just
Yeah, dump it out for us on the table.
Yeah,
Simone.
absolutely. Okay, so in my smell bag, I had nuts and berries from trees that I had helped save, that I had helped nurture and grow.
Wow.
I had bark from trees that my tribe considered like the sacred trees. I don't remember what specifically they were. I had bones from animals that I had befriended, and
Oh, wow.
So and then after they died, I put I would put a bone or a tooth, and then don't get too grossed out. But I had the placenta
Yeah.
of my baby.
No way.
I had dried it because this is like an LA thing.
No.
Yeah,
This is
from
a
here.
total
LA
right.
thing,
So
yeah.
people grind. Animals do it. All
Yeah,
animals,
yeah.
the mothers eat the placenta because it's full. That's the bag that the the baby is grown in.
Yeah.
And it's
I know
full
all about
of all
it.
this
I
stuff.
read about it on Gwyneth Paltrow's blog.
Oh, you did? I don't.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Somebody had to explain to me. It's like, what? People eat that? So anyway.
Right.
So mothers eat it. So in my mind, I had that was my
wow.
connection to my son. In the bag I had his placenta, kind of a portion of it cut, dried, and kind of ground up, and that powder gets sprinkled in. So
Whoa, that's so interesting.
mosses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was in
like
charge
it.
of the mosses in my tribe. That's why
Really? You were the moss mom?
I was the moss mom. Yes, I was. Which to me was the irony, because I was like, who gives the furbolg the responsibility? Which furbolg gets the responsibility for the moss in a forest? Because the moss is the easiest growing hardy
Yeah.
plant in the world.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why I got it, because no one really relied on me
Wow.
for that much stuff. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I'll.
You wanted something of your own that you could go collect.
No, they wanted to give me something.
They wanted
that
you-
I
oh,
couldn't
yeah.
mess up. And
Yeah,
they're like,
exactly.
okay, you just
You won't
check the
screw this up."
mosses over in the in this area of the forest, and yeah, go ahead, do that.
That's
Neela.
hilarious. Oh man, moss, teeth, Wow, placenta. What a great bag.
That's
Sounds like the backpack Talison's going to have at Gen Con.
Well, to be fair, that's true. No, that was so much better than anything I expected. So that's way better.
Me too. Taliesin.
Yeah.
Donald Cheeto wants to know, what a great last name. Whose idea was it to make your new character the person the party would seek out in order to resurrect Molly?
That I kind of wanted to drop that there as an option. I didn't entirely know that that was going to be what happened, and on a certain level, it's not really what happened. They didn't. It was, but that was a way it could have gone. But that was definitely a. I wanted that to be a possible introduction for the characters, just to put an end to it right there. So yeah, that would have been me. Kind of at least offering to Matt, like, if I'm here, if I'm doing this thing, this would be if they were going to send anybody to, and if they were going to send them to anybody who could maybe handle this, it would be these people over here in this temple. So
wow, that was a great reveal.
Thank you. It took long enough, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah,
man.
I can't believe now that we know. Like, why didn't we decide to go there? I know it was like it was right there for us.
That's D&D.
Yeah.
Just standing outside the studio, just weeping silently.
Just crying, hugging Danny, crying. Yeah. Shame eating gummy bears and waiting for your turn.
It's Milano cookies.
We have a few, well, not anymore.
Shame
We don't have
eating
any more
Milanos.
gummy
I'm not sure about the gummy
Yeah, there
bears.
are a lot of
I want to
Milanos.
have some before we leave.
Oh yeah, we'll party after
There's
this.
a lot
big
of
time.
Milanos.
I know. Yeah, it's all for you. It's all for you. Sumali, Spark Chop wants to know, Neela brought such a calming presence to the party. How do you think she managed to remain so serene despite her family being abducted?
Meditation. That didn't come up, but I feel like
You spend a lot of time in nature, in a peaceful environment.
I feel like, it was a terrible, terrible thing that happened, horrendous thing that happened, but there is some element of like Neela's life before this happened was idyllic. Like that was her like kind of normal state, was just this peaceful, calm creature. So then this horrible thing happens, but I think that there's some level that you kind of get drawn back to kind of what your body knows.
Yeah.
That on top of, if you mix it with the shock and also the need to, I'm on a mission. I need to find my partner and my child. I think all three of those end up like kind of evening her out. I think mostly the need that, she's like, I can't be like a crazy mess and work with these new friends to achieve my goal.
You have to focus on what your mission is and not be too caught up in the emotion of what's happening, because that could prevent you from completing the mission, which is getting your family back together.
Yeah, I think, and I don't know, like, my mom passed away a few years ago, and after, like, the year after that, I was like on some kind of crazy autopilot. I feel like that kind of plays in when something horrendous happens, and I'm like the sole provider for my family. I could not break down. Like and in this case, like with Neela, it's just like, this is her whole life. This is it. Like, there's no, if she breaks down now, why continue? She has a reason to push herself to survive, which is her kid. So.
That intuition kicks in, and it's, wow, that's powerful. All right, well, let's get to some more questions, but first we're going to give away some free shit. How about that?
Well,
we were off last week while we aired our San Diego Comic-Con panel, so tonight's giveaways will cover episodes 27 and 28. Our first giveaway tonight is honoring your epic gift-making skills. It's GIF of the Week.
GIF of the Week.
Oh, I can't wait to see.
Our winner for episode 27 of Campaign 2 was sent in by Siobhan Beaumont at Vani_B. Let's take a look. Yes, I would like to eat somebody's face off. And then Liam's face at the end is so great. That's so great. Oh,
I wish I
man.
could have turned into a crocodile and eaten Lorenzo's face off.
Oh, me too. Trust me. A lot of us were hoping for that. And our winner for episode 28 was sent in by Chris Chapman at Crivens Feige. Let's take a look. Feagle? Something. Sorry.
Feagle.
Sorry.
Yes,
Oh,
that was the
man.
bast.
Just
I was
did a
trying to
little
ignore this.
tuggy.
I was trying to ignore this, and then he kept doing it.
No.
I missed that. I didn't realize.
Oh, that was so terrible. Might have to use other for a while. This is getting tired.
That's so brilliant. I'm so brilliant because it was such a dramatic moment.
I know. And the disdain in Matt's face while he's like, should I
I'm
going
going to give it to you. It's Matt going, I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah.
Just-
Congrats to you, Siobhan and Chris. You have both won this Navy CR logo cap. Now, this is cool because these are really cool hats. On the back, it says, show the people what it says. Critter.
Nice.
Yeah. This item will be available at Gen Con at our booth number 2931 and will be on sale in our online shop in early December. Critroll.com.
September.
What did I say?
Early, you said December, it's early September.
Yeah, it's what Max had written down on the. Nope, just kidding, my bad. Taliesin, question for you from.
I love every time your face does this. I'm so happy.
Question for you from Nut Zelda. Seduce us, Caduceus. What an entrance and a great new character. Did you ask Laura how she felt about a second cleric in the party?
I didn't specifically ask her, although I did send all the details of what I was doing to Laura and Travis, and they were pretty entertained and excited by the ridiculousness.
Yeah.
I'm excited for a 2-cleric party also just because they're such. The builds between the two characters are very different, so I think it's going to be fun having somebody to take some of the healing weight off of.
Yeah, you can have like a Mercy and a Zenyatta at the same time.
Some days you need a Mercy and a Zenyatta,
You
man.
do.
Wow, that's right. You're playing again, aren't you?
I'm playing again.
Okay, that's
yeah,
good.
I am ruining kids' lives at how good I am with Diva.
Are you?
I'm bad.
Okay.
I'm bad. I ask everyone before I play. I'm like, are you like under 10? Yeah. All right. I'm gonna destroy you. Sumali, we're talking about a stupid video game.
Yeah, no, I'm completely lost.
Danny, do you have a question?
I do, Sumali. I have a quick question for you. Did you know that you've essentially become every critter's mom now?
Oh my gosh, I've seen the references to fur mom.
You're officially the critter matriarch.
And it's so surprising to me, but I'll take it. I mean, it's such an honor. Yeah, I did not expect that, anticipate it, but I love it. I'm also one of those people before I became a mom in real life, people would never guess. Even my own husband was like, you sure you want to have a kid? Because I had no maternal instincts, none. And I had actress friends who can play moms. And believably, I was not one of those people. I couldn't do that until I actually became a mom. And now all of a sudden, I'm playing moms. And so it was I like it. It's kind of still weird and new to me, but it's my life. So I'll take it. You know?
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, Talison's the stepdad of the critter community.
Am I the stepdad?
No, you're not.
No, I was about to say that's.
You're the
weird.
older, cooler brother. Just one that's been alive since.
I was like the weird
12th
unemployed
century.
uncle who seems happier than everybody, despite the fact that he's living in a garage.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Almost
Wait,
like
everyone has one.
yeah, like a goth Fonz, really.
Goth Fonz.
Goth Fonz.
Oh man, if only that Twitter URL wasn't taken when you signed up.
Hey.
Hey.
I had that character in my life, and you know what his name was?
No.
Uncle Cheeto.
Oh my God, that's
Uncle
so good.
Cheeto?
Yeah, well, Tito Cheeto, because
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Filipino, we call him Tito Cheeto.
Of course, yeah.
But he would come in and he would be wearing these awesome leopard print, silky shirts, and
I'm
that
already
totally
pleased.
that
I'm
guy.
already pleased.
That's Taliesin. Tell Q Wickhorns. Danny, help me. What is it? Cubicons?
Sure.
Sure, guys. You gave a vague 25-ish years when not asked how old Clay was. Technically, furbolgs aren't considered adults until 30 since they can live to be 500. Did you mean for Clay to be basically in his late teens, or did you mean for him to be a young adult?
He's in his mid-20s from furbolg, in furbolg years. Time works kind of weirdly in that little chunk of the forest, and
Yeah.
he's really not paying attention. Like, really not paying attention.
Yeah.
He is deep in naval contemplation. So, he's
What we love about furbolgs.
Yeah.
I know. It's so great.
he's got better shit to think about than how old he is.
Yeah.
So,
That's true. Like what kind of tea to make?
I like what kind of tea to make. Yeah, he's I think it's somewhere around 80 to 100 is his actual age. I've got it pegged down with Matt, but I don't quite remember what we agreed on. But yeah, he's like 23 to 26-ish.
Are you wearing the same socks?
Yeah, I got weird tonight, and I'm actually wearing matching socks.
What the fuck are you doing, dude?
Laundry was a little thin. I'm getting ready for the con, trying to pack.
That's true.
And if I'm gonna at least they're rainbow socks.
Yeah. Chief, can we blur that out, or is it too late?
Can you blur one of them?
I don't want to disappoint all the fans who love seeing
Every now and then,
you
randomly you wear paired socks. It does happen.
Yeah, I get it. Sumali, Crow-Footed Creations asks, I'm mixed indigenous and really appreciate how Neela both embraced and rejected a lot of tropes associated with the character of that background. Were you conscious of this? It's a great question.
It's a great question. I was conscious of a lot of tropes that I did not want to go into. I think being a woman of color, this was a big opportunity for like representation, and
Yeah.
I was hoping to avoid that. So I'm glad that somebody saw that.
Yeah.
Specifically for Indigenous, the one thing that I knew I didn't want to do, because I didn't want to do the broken speech, like,
Oh, right. Yeah,
pattern,
yeah.
and I didn't, because I knew that she probably spoke slowly, but I didn't want to fall into that trope of, like, dances with wolves,
Right, right. Yeah.
So that, and I also, I grew up in Ohio, so my first kind of connection to a furbolg is like Midwestern farmer.
Yeah.
And I didn't, my first thought was like making it, with kind of a southern Ohio, almost southern accent. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I better not do that, because that might piss a lot of people off, because, even though to me it felt real.
Right, I know what you're saying, yeah.
But yeah, I thought a lot about just not wanting to kind of offend people, but then at the end of the day, just realizing that if I could build a character that was grounded and that had a authenticity to her, then hopefully I wouldn't step on, I wouldn't go down those. I wouldn't go down the trope path, or kind of hit things that were negative, and hopefully have positive associations.
Yeah, you definitely did. You definitely did. Yeah. That character has resonated with our community in a way I don't know if I've seen really since Sprig of the last campaign, right? When Darren DePaul was on, just touched people's hearts in a way that it was unprecedented, in my opinion. So, so amazing. Taliesin, Danny Mazaya asks, of his new company, who is Caduceus most intrigued by and why?
There hasn't really been time yet. He's not really intrigued by anyone yet. They haven't really had a chance to bond. He's not really. It's not that he's not intrigued by everybody. It's just that what's the phrase? Is if everything is terrible, then nothing is. Everything's intriguing. So yeah, he is very intrigued by his new companions. He's also intrigued by this building that they're breaking into. Also, several trees that they've passed along the way. Several rocks have been very intriguing. A lot of the local flora and fauna, very intriguing. Everything's kind of on the same level right now. None of them have really, I guess maybe Bo, if for no other reason than Bo has gotten into to kind of play a little bit of verbal fencing with him, and he really enjoys that. So
Yeah.
that's nice. So
From a role-playing perspective,
You just drop into it where you're like, that's
it
nice.
feels good to talking that.
he can drop into anything and be comfortable. I've seen him do it to a couple of weird things.
Ryan.
I'm sorry,
love you,
Danny.
man.
From a role-playing perspective, how hard is it, because you have a lot of everyone's shit in your head already?
Yeah.
Because you've done 26 episodes with the Mighty Nine and being a part of them. How hard is it for you to have to just remember, oh shit, I have to stay in this new zone. I don't know any of this stuff that Taliesin knows.
I thought it would be hard, and it has turned out not to be hard. I was
Is it because
really
all of them are
expecting
pretty
that.
shallow and there's not much to them?
I mean, they are, but that's not really what's at stake here. It's not really what's at play. No, I was really worried about that, of just bringing a bunch of even Molly's preconceptions into it or my own ideas. But it's so much fun coming up with a new reaction to things and just letting something hit and then me going, what am I going to do with that? That it's a much more pleasant reaction to just go, take a clean slate at this one. And it's
Yeah.
just every time it hits, and even though I know whatever I know, I'm like, I'm far more interested to see what happens if I just pretend I don't. And you know, and when you're making those kind of decisions, the one that feels the best is always the easiest. So it's just, no.
And it's fun it must be fun to experience everything in this new mindset
It's
that
so
you've
much fun.
created, right?
It's so much fun.
You totally look like you're having so much fun. It's awesome.
Oh, it was. It was a great episode.
Yeah, it's a very different, it's a big shit-eating grin, but a very different one, so it's nice.
Speaking of new characters and stuff, Sumali, Chris Gaitlin asks, did Neela have to struggle internally to leave vengeance to the Mighty Nine and save her son, or was it an easy choice?
I think the harder choice was not staying with the Mighty Nine to find their friends because they had helped me find my family. I think that was more where I was torn.
Would
I think
she have sent her family away to go and do that? Or it seems like
I feel like-
after what you went through to rescue them, staying with them really felt to me like what I would do. I would never let them go again.
I mean, and I was so happy that Bo gave me that out.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I can't leave you, just help me do this. I can't leave you. And she gave me the out because of my child.
Yeah.
And so, yes, as a mother, you're like, yeah, just run and get out. And I think at the back of Neela's head, I think I was thinking, she knows that she can help the Mighty Nine better once my husband, my partner, is healed. Then we're stronger to come back and help them that way, and trusting that, they have a fellow Furbolg on their team now. Like, this is like okay, so it's almost like he's, like passing the baton, and it's going to be okay. And I think in the back of my mind, I will be able to come back once I tend to my family.
Yeah. The week that you were here to just come check it out and watch before you played was the night that Molly passed away. Did that add to your nervousness for coming on the show a week later?
Talking to you backstage, I felt like I had added to your nervousness. If I had, I feel really.
I think I was just shocked. In the research that I had done, I realized that players can die, or characters can die, and that it was a thing.
Yeah.
But I just never expected it.
Yeah.
And I didn't think, it was like, okay, so, you're coming in because, two of our players, Travis and Laura, are having a baby, so we need, I was like, okay, but then I just didn't expect the time that I came in and the time Ashley came in to be such a momentous, point in the story.
Yeah.
So.
A big turn in the narrative of this campaign, for sure. Yeah.
I think you're probably right. I was totally extra nervous, but I tried to put Neela whenever I came to, when I came to the studio and was before playing, I was just like, okay, be Neela, because Neela's not nervous.
Well, I remember
that's your acting
like,
kicking
walking
in.
back there, and you were just giving me this, what happened?
Yes.
It's like, I don't know.
Because Danny and I, we were literally like, remember the battle? There was, I forget who it was that took a massive hit.
Not
41
and points of damage.
That was when Danny and I bonded. We literally were just at the same time, because we were sitting that comfortable distance apart where you're like, okay, I don't really know this person, but they seem really nice. And then that happened, and then Not gets hit, and we both just like, dove to each other. We're like, oh no, this can't be happening. And then after that, it was just like sinking deeper and deeper into the couch when we were watching what happened, and just utter shock.
Yeah.
Like we were just like, this is not, this can't be happening.
Many of us thought the same thing watching at home. Like, there's no way this is happening. And then
I'm sure your episode was going to be fine. So.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean?
I was like, no one's going to die on your episode. You're going to be fine.
Yeah, by the time you come on the show, everything will be sorted out next week. It'll be great.
I was just totally, I was in shock.
Yeah.
But then, then you, as the actor, it's like, okay, you just play the character. Your character doesn't know everything. And obviously, Neela's lost people, and then she watched the Mighty Nine. She watched this group of people lose somebody. So it was like, okay, we can meet here.
Yeah.
And as a character, I wasn't nervous.
Yeah, of course.
Probably as Sumali I was.
Right. Yeah. Oh my God. It was the last few episodes have been my favorites of this campaign.
An intense run, man.
It has. You know what we should do right now? Give away some more free shit.
I was going to say, probably give away some more free shit.
Our next giveaway is for you fans that create and send in incredible art for moments during Critical Role. It's Fan Art of the Week.
And we get to see two, right?
Yeah. 2 of them.
I love the Fan Art of the Week.
I know, it's so...
That was great.
This week's fan art winner for episode 27 was sent in by Joanna Jonan at Ravino with T. Let's take a look.
This one.
Did you see this?
I
Good.
did.
Okay, I was hoping you saw this
I
one.
love this one so much. It's funny, I almost retweeted it today.
You really?
Yeah, but I was like, because I retweeted the thing that Crit Roll Stats did about you instead.
We'll tweet it out from our Talks Machina Twitter account so you can, and Instagram so you can see it.
I love this one so much.
Yeah, that's so fantastic.
Keg's like, blah.
Yes. And our other fan art winner for episode 28 was sent in by Angie Gon at Agon Thetic. Let's take a look.
Oh.
Did you see that one yet? Yeah, that's amazing.
Oh. Very nice. Oh, look at that.
Oh, I love that with the shadow.
Great.
Molly in the background. That's really beautiful.
Covered in light. It's covered in light.
Covered in light.
Yeah.
I like it.
Gorgeous.
Like it.
Like it.
Like it.
Like it.
Like it.
Thank you to everyone who submitted. Congrats to you, Joanna and Angie. You have won these 2 Hero Vaults. Hero Vaults? Hero Vaults?
Wow.
I am shit-faced. Not yet. What time is it? Oh yeah, I'm shit-faced. From our friends at Wormwood Gaming, apologies. Joanna, you have won this Bolivian Rosewood Hero Vault with Celtic Knot. And Angie, you have won this Purple Heart Hero Vault with Celtic Knot. Now these are really cool. They're engraved so beautifully. And then they're magnetized. When you pop it open, you can put your little hero. You could even put some dice. You could even put some spice. Make sure to check out wormwoodgaming.com for all these great products. You can enter our weekly contest by emailing your GIF or fan art to submit at talksmachina.com. Rules for our contests are available at critroll.com. Moving on. Submit? He did it.
Yep.
Taliesin Bigjutsu Yukai wants to know, Clay seemed to react little to not shooting Bo and was more perturbed by Bo's reaction. Just how far does this level of chill go? Is Clay nigh unfazable?
I don't know yet. We'll find out. He's pretty chill. The chill goes pretty deep. He's.
How deep is your chill?
His chill is pretty heavy.
Is your chill?
Yeah, he's.
That was amazing.
Yeah, and certainly I don't think violence is necessarily going to be one of the things that really. I mean, like unless it's really intense violence. I think that kind of what was obviously pretty reasonable interplay between people who seem to be used to that kind of interplay. He was just going to sit and observe at this point. I've got to do a little, I didn't have a lot of time to figure out this character and where he was coming from, but he is vaguely based on this guy I used to know who was a Buddhist, he was a Buddhist monk living in Pasadena, who would just roll around this little electric cart everywhere. It was like back in the 90s when like a guy in an electric cart was a big deal.
That's my favorite song, by the way, the little Buddhist monk from Pasadena.
Yeah. And he was just this very, and he was known in the goth community. I don't remember how he had this interconnection through one of our artist friends, but yeah, it was just, people would come hang out. He was really into, what are they, camera obscuras?
Oh yeah.
So he had this great camera obscura collection. He would show off his cool optic collection.
Yeah.
Just have this little electric cart. I was like, it was just very chill about everything. I know. It was it's the chillest guy I've ever met.
A Zen dude, yeah.
Just ran around Pasadena in a little cart.
Love that. Love that.
That's gonna be me when I'm really old at like 50.
Yeah.
Taliesin, you did like an Irish accent of a person trying to pretend not to be Irish for a lot of the beginning there for Molly. How did you land on the voice for?
Literally, it was what doesn't sound like Percy or Molly.
Yeah, let's see.
That was literally me going, I've got to come up with something that is not these two characters. And then once this is the sloppiest character I've made in so long. And then once I kind of saw the size of him and like figured out that he was going to be super chill, then it just, it's like, I can use my chest voice. I can get really bassy with him and take my time to say everything. Okay, and also Matt's furball, Pumat Soul was a big.
Yeah.
I was like, what does a slightly more badass Pumat sound like? Was my thought also.
Pretty
and that was
badass.
before I had heard what you were doing, and then when I heard what you were doing, I'm like, perfect.
It made so much sense.
Yeah.
After my first episode, then when I came back and you were backstage and we were all like, we didn't get to meet your character, and you looked at me and you're like, now I'm really excited to play with you. And I didn't understand. Like I was like, I thought it's because I didn't make a total fool of myself.
Right.
I was like, all right, I earned Talison's respect. And I'm like, it was because he was a furball.
I couldn't wait. It was gonna be so good.
I know when you told me, after the disaster that you had picked out a furball, I was like, that's great because Puma and then Sumali was playing one.
And since we've only had one in the game, there hadn't really been a defining character. Like I was worried that it was going to be maybe some clashing between like the styles of play with the personalities of the furball, but no, not at all.
Not at all.
No.
Yeah, you could tell because you watched it and you were like, there's sync.
That's their furball. That's normal.
Oh, as soon as I saw you, oh my gosh, in this last episode, as soon as I saw you, I was like,
He's a furball. That's hilarious.
But like you're saying, that's like it was there immediately. As soon as you open your mouth, I was like, wow.
And it is not planned. It just happens, and there's it's weird, but it works.
Yeah, that's D&D, right? Sumali, Morgan Churchill wants to know. Big fan of your grandfather's, by the way. You. Why is everyone leaving? Come back. You guys work here. You never got the chance to call down lightning. When you are next on Critical Role, because you really must return, what druid or furball abilities are you most looking forward to trying out?
Definitely caught lightning.
Yep.
And then there was one. Wait, I have to look at my thing. These are like my security blankets now. I like walk around with
notes.
Yes, all my notes, my Circle of the Shepherd notes, my and I would have liked to have tried Flaming Sphere. I didn't, when I picked my spells, admittedly mine were a little bit more focused on healing as opposed to offensive.
Yeah.
And so I realized I didn't know what I was doing. So, but then as I got to know the game, I was like, oh wait, I don't actually have as many good offensive battle, spells. So, Call Lightning is definitely the one I would have wanted to. But Flaming Sphere, close second. I also like Entangle, even though it's not the
it's
super
still
fanciest.
fun,
But I was like,
It's very useful.
It is very useful. All right, we got about 5 minutes left. Tal, Zoondox wants to know, how long had Mr. Clay had his bags packed, waiting for someone to come and spirit him away?
About 4 months,
Really?
give or take.
Wow.
Ish.
What was he doing all that time?
He was starting to have dreams and was starting to have some visions in his meditation about the thing that had gone wrong and was ready to go deal with it, except that he was not feeling comfortable making his way by himself through that much forest. So it was, eventually somebody will come along, I'll have a bag packed, and I'll just go.
Yeah.
I guess it was probably about 4 months. Yeah, and like whatever people had come by in that time period were not the right people.
Yeah,
So
worked
I
out
think there
well.
was like only one visitor otherwise.
Wow.
If I recall, I'm still putting it all together.
Yeah, I bet. Well, it happened really fast. You didn't have 6 months.
from the last one. It was so nice.
I know, it was much easier. Sumali, Wizard Genie Bard wants to know, that's a good combo.
Yeah.
During the game, were you ever worried that Neela wouldn't get to her son and partner in time?
Sure, absolutely. Because I had asked Matt for the second episode. I was like, well, I know I'm exiting in this episode, so what? How do I make my
How's that
exit?
gonna
And he was,
happen?
he was just like, well, follow my lead, and if you happen to run into, then it might, lead one way, or if you don't, it might, I don't actually think he said if you don't, but I emailed him back right away. I'm like, does that mean I get to meet them? And then, but he didn't respond. He's like, just follow my lead.
Yeah.
But I absolutely thought, I hoped that they would. I think Neela was certain that we would, but I wasn't so sure. Just given everything that happened, all the uncertainty.
A lot of uncertainty, yeah.
Yeah, if we had gone back to ask the taskers to hire maybe we wouldn't have even made it there, We would stay. What if we stayed with you longer?
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. So many roads that could have gone down. Yeah, I'm glad they were alive when you found them. That's for sure. Because I would have been.
I think I was a little bit mentally prepared too, if they weren't, but.
Yeah. If Matt did that, I would have thrown a brick at my television. I would have been like, screw this
He
shit.
tends to have those things on the counter. So if you take too long, just bad things will happen. There's always the never-ending bad things that pile up if the
I
longer
don't
you
like
take.
it one bit.
I was worried that we were going to get down there, and because we went down under the trap door, that if we'd gone further, they would have done something to my husband and son, as punishment, as we were going down there,
Yeah.
and that they would just, instead of just torture them,
Yeah.
I thought that they would be killed, and then I might have seen them dead. In the moment, in the game, I was
Yeah.
thinking that, if that's them, oh my God, they could be, be
Yeah.
killed right here. But
Ugh. Thank God it
Matt
worked
wouldn't
out.
do that. Matt didn't do that. Thank God.
Yeah, thank God it worked out, because it's been an emotional couple weeks. I don't need any more crazy deaths. Taliesin, Geralt of Boring Trivia says, save us from Brian's in-depth analysis of Deadwood with an answer to this question. Now listen, any show where the clear antagonist of the show becomes the protagonist
I love that show so much.
is fantastic. Okay,
we'll talk
anyway, just like Percy and Molly were shades of your own personality, how does Caduceus, just kidding,
No, enjoy.
reflect your inner self?
He's another strain of Renfair is the best way to describe where this character came from. I actually fed a lot of there were a bunch of threads of Molly that I was like, how can I continue to play with these threads but in a very different wrapping? So there was definitely a big chunk of Molly that kind of ended up with Caduceus in this for this game. So it's very much still in that line of the sorts of people that you would hang out with at the Renaissance Fair, and then also I was raised by hippies, bless them.
Yeah, yeah.
So there was definitely God, what is the name? Have you ever been to Lake Shrine? Do you know Lake Shrine?
Yeah, the Lake Shrine Temple.
Yeah,
Sure.
so yeah,
That's
very
the
much
most beautiful place.
I was I spent a lot of time there as a child, and that was one of so very much kind of. He was hearkening back to a lot of those, the friends I had from the Self-Realization Fellowship Center.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my gosh, that's such a beautiful
I know, that's so
place.
pretty, isn't it?
The only place outside of India where they have Gandhi's ashes.
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like the
beautiful.
little gem in
got a
Los
windmill.
Angeles.
We'll go. We'll take a trip.
Take me.
I'll take you to my
Amazing.
secret garden. It's wonderful.
Let's go. Take me to your secret garden, Taliesin.
It's lovely.
I'm so happy to get to know more about you.
Oh, it was, that was a bit of you can see kind of that makes sense if you
Yeah,
think about
piece
it.
together. Well, we're out of time, but Somali, I want to ask you before we go. Lady Amphi actually sent this question in. As this was your first time playing and you were a natural, I agree. What advice would you have for new players? What challenged you the most, and what did you find easy?
The easiest part is just playing with you guys. I mean, once you do the homework, once you're there, everyone, and Matt just makes it so easy to enjoy and get into. I think the most challenging thing for me was, because I feel like I had to learn D&D, but everybody was telling me, oh, but just do what you want. Like, don't worry about, the rules and exactly the canon, and you can bend the stuff. But in order to know how to bend it, I had to learn what this was first.
Yeah.
So I feel like it was like a two-step process, and it was not easy. I was like, whoa, all this information. I think the advice I would say is, don't make it harder for yourself like I did, which was try to learn the box and then figure out how you can kind of step toward that border, step away, out of that. I think it would have been more helpful if I just sat down with somebody and said, this is what I want to do, kind of get feedback that way, as opposed to what I did, which was just hole up, read. Oh my God, I don't understand this. Oh my God, I don't understand this. I have to fit this and this stat with that, and how do I get this quirk and that?
Information overload.
And I think it would have just been easier, which what I eventually did. I sat down with a DM friend of mine, and was like, okay, because Matt had already sat down with me enough, I couldn't take any more of this stuff.
Oh no, I understand.
I was like, oh no, I'm sorry. But my DM friend Tom Lommel was like, I just sat down with him and I just bam, list of questions, and he just kind of walked me through stuff, and he's just like, just find comfort in the fact that the people that you're playing with will lead you through this. It's okay, So
this group is really good about going, oh yeah, this, use this dice, whatever else.
And I knew that, but you don't know it until you're in it, and then you feel the support, and you feel, the gifts that people threw. Like Liam on that first day, he was like, so imagine that tree stump is the bad guy. What would you do? And then oh, that's here you go. It's such a improvisation, generosity and gift. So that kind of stuff makes it, that was easy. That felt easy to me.
It was such a joy seeing you on the show, and hopefully you come back, because that would mean the world to us.
Fellow Furbolg.
Really would, Yep, Fireside Furbolgs. Coming soon to criticalworld.twitch.television. There it is. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight, folks. We're going to end on the cutest note in the world. Stick around for Talks Machina After Dark over on Alpha. Critical Role Campaign 2, Episode 29 airs Friday. Not Thursday, Friday night, starting an hour earlier, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern from Gen Con. I would like to thank Sumali Taliesin for joining us tonight. Thank you so much. Until Friday, don't forget to love each other, and don't worry, it's almost Gen Con. Stay tuned, my friends. We'll see ya. We're back for After Dark. Thank you for that wonderful countdown, Danny. We have a few questions from the Alpha Chat for you guys to wrap up the evening. Sumali, Felix Felicis 2016, whatever. It's a great name, just long. How did you feel playing a druid next to someone who played a druid for a few years, Marisha? Did that help you feel more comfortable or make you more nervous?
Oh, totally more comfortable.
Yeah. She was there to kind of
absolutely. And I think that the first thing that I did was the good berries for the chickens, for the dying roosters, and I literally was like, I can do good berries, right? I just whispered it to her, and she's like, yeah, and it just made because that was the first spell or whatever that I used, so I was it made me
wanted to check. Just wanted to check.
Exactly. It was great. I didn't feel any sort of nothing negative, nothing bad.
You were in great hands.
Yeah, it just made me feel so much more taken care of and supported by an amazing cast.
Yeah. I have to commend you guys on that, Taliesin, because whenever a guest comes in,
yeah.
Everyone, maybe with the exception of Joe Manganiello, is usually a little nervous or a little like, oh man, what to expect. They know that the community is so large and there's, a lot of people watching and stuff, but you guys really have a way of making people so comfortable and
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
I think I always find it really fun watching someone play the game for the first time. I remember watching Travis play the game for the first time and watching him kind of do the, can I do this?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you can do anything you want, man.
Yeah.
Just you might be really bad at it,
Right.
but and
could try, yeah.
watching that kind of dawn, watching that specific thing of realizing that it's not a game about what you can and can't do, but it's simply a game of how likely are you to be able to do it. It's fascinating watching someone come to the realization that like that level of creative thinking is now possible and that level of problem solving is now that possible. It's really it definitely, you're used to the notion of a sandbox game and then getting into a game like this where it's like we don't need a sandbox. This is so much bigger than that.
Yeah, makes sense. Tal, another Matt wants to know, Molly Mock's name was Tea Leaf. Caduceus enjoys tea, and his outfit strongly resembles a specific can of green tea. Is this a purposefully planned coincidence, and if so, why?
This is pure coincidence. I was in a terrible rush. The tea thing didn't actually, I didn't come up with him drinking tea until literally about 11 seconds before coming on to the stage.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you were making tea out there for some of us before you
I was making tea
came
because
out.
I drink tea because I can't drink coffee anymore. I had my first cup of coffee in months this weekend, and it reminded me that I should not do that because I get wired and paranoid and have
Me too.
panic attacks. I was
Me
like,
too.
oh, this is terrible. Why did I think this would be fun?
Yeah,
oh,
tea is
God.
a lot more soothing.
So yeah, the tea, I had some of my tea today. It was when they went over to look at the tombstone, and they were examining one of the stones that was covered in flowers, and then I was backstage writing notes so that I knew where they'd walk through. I was like, oh, this is a fun thing I can do. Okay, I'm gonna figure out how to make this happen. And it was literally maybe less than 20 seconds before I walked on and was like, okay, I've got a good intro. That'll
Wow.
be fun. As for the Arizona, well, I mean, like,
I've never seen you walk around drinking one of those.
no, well,
So
I mean, like, I will admit it is a thing that I have like on long road trips. It is a very, I love it in the car when I'm driving for 11 hours.
Yep.
But no, it was, I mean, like, I realize now from a lot of the art, and I love this, and I don't want anyone to stop, is that a lot of people think that it's like a pink, like a cherry blossoms pattern on the, and it's actually
gin blossoms.
It's gin blossoms right here. It's actually, you can Google it. It's a form of lichen that gets really neon pink and red and white. It's lichen that is kind of growing on all the like the weird that he like anything that he wears long enough eventually gets like covered in strange lichen.
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
So and you can Google and you'll find these bright neon pink, crazy splotches of mold-looking fungus. Or
It's about time you made an interesting and eccentric
I know.
character, Taliesin.
I've been holding back,
Couple of duds, and then you found third time's the charm.
but it's all intentional. It was just it only took 3 days to put together, so it's
Yeah.
a little. Did not think everything through, obviously.
Was there any thoughts about, the fact that you did have such a limited amount of time helping you rather than overthinking it and maybe over planning and maybe coming up with too much before you played?
Sure. I don't think I want to do it again.
Right.
I would have liked a month.
A month, yeah.
Say that.
6 months is like a luxury.
6 months
because
is a
that was
luxury.
you
A month
knew-
would have been nice.
Right.
Especially since I know that I couldn't have given Matt a giant backstory and said, work this into the game now.
Right.
That would have been kind of shitty.
Yeah.
So it was very much also if it comes to it, here's a character who can pick up these tangents and would make sense. So that way you don't have to throw away anything and this is all, it's all kind of can be built on the same structure.
Yeah.
That was doing it, getting it done. And the reason it had to be done in 3 days is because the art had to be started, and our poor artist couldn't start drawing anything until I had rolled a character and figured out what I was doing and what my weapons were. And
Right. outfit, the hair.
Many iterations and changes and options, and at some point I'll get her permission to put some of that up online and sort of show the
She did a
the
great
build.
job.
And so fast.
So fast, yeah.
So fast.
Man.
Can I add to
Yes.
Ariana's props because
Yes.
earlier in the show you were talking about like tropes and stuff that one of the viewers had sent in that question. I specifically didn't describe to Ariana what Neela should be wearing.
Oh, really?
Because I was, I didn't know you guys, but I trust you guys, but I didn't know, I was like, if I say Asian influenced, I didn't know if I was going to come back with rice patty hat and I didn't think that was going to happen, but
No,
I was
that's- yeah.
so I just was like, okay, I'm just going to toss it over. Here's the physical description and here's some other things, and and it was Ariana who said, I took some liberties and I went with a Mongolian inspired look, and I was like, oh my God, it's perfect.
That makes so much more sense why she was tossing me a bunch of that stuff when we were doing some iterations of the character. She was like, I have some more Asian influenced armor, and I was like, oh, I mean,
Because she was pressed for time.
Yeah, I was like, that makes sense now why she was throwing that at me.
It was so good, and it just made me feel like how much more I could trust everyone because she got it, and it wasn't overdone, it wasn't underdone, it was literally, it was the perfect amount, and I was so happy about that.
How has it been? Did you spend the weekend or the last couple of weeks looking at a lot of the fan art that people had made on? Oh my gosh, isn't it amazing?
Nobody told. Because I've been trying to like a lot of things because I'm so grateful. I trying to but if I like a bunch of things, then the problem is I can't find the stuff that the art. So then now I didn't know. I should have asked you guys, how do you keep your collection of it?
We have a collection. We can give you access to everything. So we just.
Oh gosh, because
we
I've
have
been
it- we
oh
have
my
it
gosh, I
all
wish I would have
organized.
known that. I spent hours this weekend
there's
scrolling and
so
trying to
much.
find
There's
there
so
was that
much.
one, that one fan art of the week. I was like, oh wait, there's that one with the whole group and she's holding a smell bag. I gotta find that one. I literally was 3 hours to find certain ones.
Wow.
I should have known.
Yeah, no, my favorite is occasionally I'll see something and be like, oh, I'm gonna, and then I'll get distracted and I'll go back to Twitter and be like, it's just gone. It's
Yeah.
just gone.
So now I'm getting.
yourself to tweet.
Oh, so what I'm doing is I copy the link now. I copy the link and I have a running email that's
Oh, there
character,
you go.
character art, or just some of the gifs
Yeah.
that I wanted to say. So now I just copy it and put it in my email. But I
Yeah.
figured you guys had a better solution.
We have a system.
Just you have someone who's helping.
We have Liam. Liam is
We
our
have
system.
a Liam. Liam helps with that. Liam and Rachel are the curators of the art for us, and they spend. I couldn't even tell you
gallery every
how
week.
many hours. Yeah, there's a gallery every week, so they spend forever. Yeah, going through that stuff, and it's
amazing. The character art.
It's emotional. It's emotional. That was one of the first things that when we started to do this show was I'm like, we have to do some sort of giveaway for fan art because I wanted to just show it. Because not everybody has Twitter. Not everybody's going to be able to see that stuff. It doesn't always make its way around all the different social media sites. And, we knew that literally everyone would be watching this show. And so we wanted to show off I'm kidding. We wanted to show off that fan art. But yeah, it's so much. If you just do the Critical Role fan art hashtag during Twitter, during the episodes, I can't believe how fast people crank out just incredible, detailed artwork. I wish I could draw like that, but I can't.
It finally dawned on me the other day, or just yesterday. I was like, oh, the medium of storytelling, this medium of storytelling lends itself so easily to the character fan art.
Yeah.
And I just didn't, for some reason, it didn't click on my mind because I was like, I've had people send me, images of my characters in the past, but nothing to this level. It's amazing.
Yeah. We have time for a few more questions. Tal, the Vigorous Jaw says, Cassius Clay or Caduceus Clay, who wins?
Oh, Cassius.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, that name, that was literally a name from my archive of scripts that will never sell.
Yeah.
Which was I need a name, and here's a thing here's a work for hire that never got picked up. I'll good, I can recycle it into this now. This is the third attempt for me to use this name in a thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Clay's good.
I like Clay, and I've been wanting. It is now the third iteration of that character, considering that he was in a adaptation pitch decades ago, and then I was briefly about to maybe write for a video game, do some writing for a video game. He almost ended up there, and then he went back in the file. And finally, last night, I was like, last week, I was like, I can finally pull this name out of the archive again and actually do something with it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it.
Finally.
Caduceus. The Deuce.
It's good to have like a little box full of like, well, we're never gonna make that up, but I'm sure I can like raid this for something of value at some point.
Yeah.
If you're creative writing.
And you did. You did.
It only took a decade and change.
Pays to keep notes. Sumali, our last question of the night. Let's give it to you, shall we? This is from MP Invisible. As a first-timer, how does playing D&D compare and contrast with other types of storytelling and performance experiences?
Whoa.
Acting on screen, maybe other improv type stuff that you've done before, VO work.
Yeah.
Dang, that's a good question. It's like nothing I've ever experienced. I mean, I was thinking how voiceover kind of lends itself well to this because I don't know, like there's somewhat of a theatricality to it when you're when you're role playing, that and the world is just so much more fantastical than anything that I've kind of worked on camera. So that's a tough question. It's totally unique, and I love it. It's kind of like the best of all things because it's got for me, improv kind of freaks me out. Like when there's like no boundaries whatsoever. And I like that the dice rolls guide you, and that there are, there's a certain number of spells that you can cast in a day. I like that, and that just feels good to me.
Yeah.
I like how you said it's not really a sandbox.
No.
But to me, it feels like I like it because there is a little bit of a sandbox there, but it's big. Yeah, it's got some borders.
Parameters.
So I'm not just like, whoa, thrown into something. I feel there's structure to it, which I like, but the play within that structure is huge. I don't know. I mean, this was intense. It was a fantastic introduction to something I've never experienced, I've never done, and now I understand why people love it. After my first practice game, I was like, oh, and I did get to do Call Lightning in that game, and I was like,
nice.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
You're hooked now, right? Yeah. I know that feeling.
I was like, I didn't get why my friends would spend hours doing this, and I just didn't get it until until I was given the opportunity. So
it's an analog adventure to go on with friends in a world full of screens and disconnection.
Yet it was. I don't know. It was kind of like the kind of when you voice a video game, especially, you don't have the script in advance, so you're flying by the seat of your pants, and you don't have time to think about anything else. But it's like line, and you don't necessarily get the feeling of creating the full story with your with your castmates. This was like flying by the seat of your pants, but you're doing it right there, and it was just. I loved that. Literally, the entire outside world disappeared. It was.
It's immersive
intoxicating.
In that way.
Yeah, I was just like, it was so easy just to forget about everything and just be there telling the story. And with people who were such good storytellers and so immersed in it, and you just, it was amazing.
Oh,
I'm like,
so great having you on the show.
Now I understand D&D love.
So great.
Yes, I know. Now you'll be hooked for life. Yep.
Hopefully I'll get my son into it too.
Oh yeah, we were just talking about that. Yeah, I mean he'll get into it.
Oh, yeah. He knows all about furbolgs already.
Amazing.
Already on the way.
Like yesterday, he's like, Mama, let's play. You be Mama Furbolg, and I'll be the big, because he kind of knows what happens, and he's like, I'm caught in this cage. You have to get me out. Because I showed him some of the things.
So cute.
It was so funny. He was like, he wanted to pretend play that 4 or 5 times.
Oh my gosh.
He's like,
that's
okay, now what does
adorable.
the dungeon master say at this point? And I'm like, well, the dungeon master said, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'll tell him what Matt said.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you're like, okay, and I'm inside, and I reach my hand out.
Oh, that's so
It was
adorable.
very
That's too
sweet.
much.
It was
Oh,
very
God.
sweet.
I love it.
So he's like D&D player coming, like up and
yeah.
coming.
Oh.
Bring him around here, we'll teach him the ropes. No, I'm kidding. Can't be around children. That's all the time we have for tonight, folks. We will see you Friday night at 9 Eastern for Critical Role Live. You guys excited? I'm excited.
I'm excited for
I'm
you guys.
excited.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. Nervous, excited.
I'm gonna start waxing the rest of my body now.
For that outfit, you better.
Oh my
Oh yeah, for the outfit too. Yeah, for sure.
wait to see it.
I'll show you a picture after.
Okay.
Good night, everyone. We love you. We'll see you later. That's After Dark.